Hi, Caroline. Thank you for that introduction. I want to say a big thank you to Caroline, Neve, and the whole WAM team at Ahead for inviting me to come and speak today. As Caroline said, my name is Síne, and I am currently working as a graduate on the Bank of Ireland graduate programme. To tell you a little bit about me, I was born and raised in Dublin. When I was 3 years old, I was diagnosed with total hearing loss in my right ear. So for the first 18 years of my life, I was half deaf. To me, I wasn't really missing out on anything because I had never known what it was like to be fully hearing. I had developed habits such as wanting to speak face to face with people, but other than that, I never really felt like I was missing out on anything. Once I finished my leaving cert, I started in UCD studying English and French originally. I absolutely loved college. But on the 24th of January 2015, so almost 6 years ago now, I woke up one morning completely deaf. It was the hardest and scariest thing I've ever experienced. My doctors thought it was just an ear infection, but it very soon became clear that it wasn't. I underwent surgery, was given medication, and basically told to hope it might come back. This was just before my second semester in college was due to start, and I remember thinking, what am I going to do? How am I going to do anything I did before? How will I ever get a job if I can't communicate with people? And I was given a choice to take the semester off and go back the following September, but that didn't really appeal to me. I discovered a lot about myself during this period, mainly that I'm the type of person that likes to keep really busy. So having nothing to do but adapt to my situation didn't really sit well with me. So a month after I lost my hearing, I returned to college. The first day that I went back, it was truly terrifying, but it did get easier. I had to learn to adapt fairly quickly, and UCD in terms of disability support were fantastic. I've had 3 different jobs since I lost my hearing in 2015. I was lucky enough to have done an internship in Irish Cement. I worked as a cash operator in SuperValue, where I handled money coming in and out of the shop, and I worked in immigration in the Department of Justice. Each interview I did for these jobs, I had to ask for reasonable accommodations to be made and inform them of my disability. When I applied for the WAM programme in 2019 and was invited for the interview, I can't tell you how reassuring it was to be asked, do I require any accommodations? The only accommodations I requested was to not be interviewed in a group setting, as obviously I would have struggled to hear. And I also asked that my interviewer be made aware of this. When I arrived at the interview, I was brought into a small pod. I was sitting directly opposite the interviewer in a small enclosed space. These were accommodations I didn't even request, but it was really clear Bank of Ireland had put thought into the best environment for me to do the interview. Sitting in a close proximity to my interviewer made lip reading so much easier. The fact that the room was so small meant there was no echo and the sound was clear with no background noise. My interviewer was patient, she spoke clearly and had no issues when I had to ask her to repeat herself. I really felt supported in doing the interview to the best of my ability. I have to admit I was absolutely thrilled when I received an offer for the graduate programme. I had a very unique situation, however. The same week I was offered a position in Bank of Ireland, I was also offered a cochlear implant surgery. For anyone who doesn't know what this is, it's a device they surgically implant into my head that allows me to hear. My sister describes it as a permanent AirPod, which because I can stream phone calls and music through it also. This was obviously a life-changing surgery for me. I had been on the waiting list for years, and so when I was offered the surgery, I was of course going to accept, but I assumed that would mean that I would have to decline my position in Bank of Ireland. I discussed this situation with WAM first, and they in turn advised me to discuss with Bank of Ireland. And Bank of Ireland were so great. I remember them saying, that's no problem, you can start the programme late. And I was truly shocked. I know Laura Flynn, the graduate recruitment officer, was also fantastic. She would email me just to check in and see how I was recovering after my surgery. And I know this was such a lovely experience to have, dealing with Bank of Ireland even before I joined the programme. And I was really reassured before and when I joined the programme that it was going to be a good position for me. I would have started 2 months after the date which I had my switch on, which was scary because when you have a cochlear implant, you essentially need to teach yourself to hear again. So you need to slowly learn to identify sounds around you that I hadn't heard in 5 years. Bank of Ireland and WAM were great in supporting me with a needs assessment, which was carried out before I even started in the bank. And so I started on the 10th of February 2020, and I'm here almost a year. Since joining the bank, I've worked on the recruitment team for my first rotation, and I'm now working on the people advice and guidance team. I'm also heavily involved in Bank of Ireland's accessibility network. Since I had such a positive experience joining Bank of Ireland, it's important to me to help others with disabilities have the same. I was lucky enough to be given the opportunity to host our bank-wide accessibility universal design event last month, and I'm really looking forward to getting more involved this year. So with that, I'd like to say a big thank you again to the WAM team and also to everyone at Bank of Ireland for making me feel so welcome.